back talking with Dr. John Weil about the midterm elections, everybody, and focusing now on Tennessee. Governor Bill Lee, Dr. Jason Martin, I know worked hard, just couldn't find any footing and fundraising, I guess, not enough. And folks like Governor Lee's message. Let's focus. He kind of talked a little bit about what's next now that he has another term, and talked a lot about infrastructure, investing in infrastructure. Some of his ads pushed kind of the teacher button after all sorts of controversy with that in Hillsdale College, talking about, we support our teachers, just wait and see. What's your take on what he could do now going into this next term?
Well, again, I think he's going to stress a very pro-business. In terms of education, which of course is a special interest of mine, he seems most interested in sort of vocational technical education more so than college. He has pushed some ideological buttons, for example, the gender reaffirmation, that sort of thing, but probably is more moderate than most Republicans in other states.
Yeah, obviously.
So probably more of the same, I think.
And obviously the push with charter schools has not worked out in his favor. And, you can argue, how he responded to questions about Hillsdale College and comments and all of that, which I think are legitimate questions to be asked of him. But
sure,
when you do look at workforce development, like you said, that focus on vocational and technical agricultural education, colleges of technology. Now he wants to push infrastructure, roads, bridges, highways, broadband, all of that. And also, he and the economic development director over the years, the commissioner, they have done a very good job of drawing a lot of businesses, small and large, to the state. The big Ford mega site, I think, out toward Jackson, somewhere between Jackson and Memphis, that's huge. But in the long run, there are questions. Are we giving away too much to these corporations? Are they actually going to deliver with the jobs and the money and all of that? Because already Oracle is supposedly laying people off during this down economy. So there are questions there, though, right?
Right. There are. I remember, wasn't that many years ago, was it a Chinese firm just outside Clarksville that was going to build this multi-million dollar facility? Was it for light bulbs or something?
I think it was.
Never got off the
Was that
ground.
the solar panels, the material for solar panels, maybe? Yeah.
Maybe so. It was, and the college there was sort of revving up to, prepare for graduates. And, they don't always, we know this from communist countries, that centralized planning doesn't always work.
Right.
And people are delighted to take your money and get your tax credits, but once they have it, they may or may not be able to deliver.
So you talked a little bit about, how demographics can change and the carving up of the districts. What do you think these midterms are here in Tennessee says about our politics and our demographics? I mean, we know we have blue cities like Chattanooga, Knoxville, Memphis, Nashville, relatively blue, and then all the rural areas red. Where are we headed? Because so many people are moving here.
Well, nationally, there seems to be this division, which, I particularly regret as a college professor, but, it seems there's a division between those with college educations and without, those in the cities and those in the rural areas.
Right.
And it's a national trend. I don't know where exactly Tennessee fits into that, except that we seem to be there with the rest of them. But yes, we are a lot more people seem to be moving into Tennessee than are moving out, for sure.
So when you look, obviously it's hard to predict the future, but so many people look at trends and this and that. If you're, among the state Democrats, Vincent Dixie and others, leaders, You know, Mary Mancini no longer heading the Democratic Party and had tried for years, a very bright person, to get the Democrats together, find good candidates, identify areas that they think they could win with good messaging, but it hasn't materialized.
No, that's right. But again, you know, think of how many years. Now, Tennessee was a little less solid than, you know, Alabama, Mississippi, and, you know, some of the deep South states. But, you know, for almost 100 years, Democrats dominated, and now, you know, since sort of Nixon forward, and that's probably, you know, not a clear dividing line, but from there forward, it's been leaning much more Republican. So, you know, these things come in waves. And again, you know, Trump's legacy, I think the question will be, if Trump goes down, as I think he could, particularly if he's, you know, indicted and convicted, is the Republican Party going to be able to extract itself for that legacy?
Right.
You know, if you remember, no, I don't personally remember it, but, you know, after the Civil War, they used to talk about waving the bloody shirt. You know, long after the war was over, Republicans were still accusing the Democrats of being the traitors. Yeah. And it's, you know, this isn't
people
quite
forget.
a comparable event.
People forget when they talk. I know that they say it's so bitter, but we've had some tumultuous political times in our history. So I know.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, really, really rough. So Donald Trump, I heard also a GOP analyst say a lot of Republicans believed in a lot of his policies, economic policies and the border and whatnot, but they just can't handle the fact that he is so, to them, emotionally, the lack of discipline and the impulsiveness to right away. He's not on Twitter, but I think it's Truth Social, to put out, you know, right away attacking people who maybe 2 weeks before he called great, and, you know, just, it's not his fault. He's always blaming someone else, which could, now there's a fatigue that could just say people are just enough already.
Well, and, you know, part of it is it's been effective in the sense that it's a lot of, some of the loyalty to Trump is fear. You know, if I don't support him, or if I vigorously oppose him, he's going to call me a name. You know, and you go back to schoolyard. You know, I don't like being called that. You know, I don't want people to think I'm a sissy or, you know, whatever.
Of intimidation there.
But then when you get candidates that he's dissing that start winning, then it's like, well, you know, maybe the bully's been exposed a little bit. Well, maybe it's not going to be as effective. The
political pendulum does definitely kind of slowly swing back and forth. I think American voters always like to put a check on power, you know, midterms, things like that, which they may have if the Republicans hold the House and maybe get the Senate. So before our final break, because that'll be it for us, moving ahead now, you know, a lot of Republicans now saying, forget it, let's focus on DeSantis, he's our guy. Democratic side, a lot of folks saying there's no way President Biden can run for another term. Who do we look to? And I know people like Gavin Newsom in California are rising stars. What do you think? What in 2 years could we potentially see at these conventions, who the nominees might be?
You know, DeSantis is riding higher in the last 10 minutes.
But that could change
in political time. But remember Rubio. Remember Jeb Bush. They were from Florida, and they were flying high. You know, everybody thought, I think, that, you know, Jeb Bush was going to get the nomination, and he just fizzled. So it's pretty premature here, in my judgment. And this, I don't. I'm opposed to ageism. The older I get, the more opposed I am to it. Me too. But frankly, neither Trump nor Biden is a spring chicken. You know, either of them could have. I mean, anybody can have a health emergency.
Real quick, I just heard a poll today that I think both sides of the aisle, a majority of Americans would support an age limit for certain elected leaders. They also said for pilots and police officers that they would support it. And knowing that could be seen as discriminatory, but it's important on the public's mind.
Well, I think for pilots there actually is. I think they've raised it, but I think
Okay.
there is a limit, and I think some police officers as well. And I think I'm not in favor as a general rule of term limits. But when you see somebody like the senator in Iowa is running for his seventh
Yeah.
6-year term, I mean,
a
give
lot.
me a break. Surely there's somebody else in Iowa.
All right, we've got to take a break. Thank you so much, Dr. Weil, for being with
You're
us.
welcome.
I'm sure over the next 2 years we'll see you several times again, and who knows how it's all going to pan out. But thank you for being with us. We'll take a break and wrap it up right after this.
You're welcome.